Hey guys, Brent Abernathy here today. I got a special guest, good friend of mine that I've known for a long time, Greg Peters, who was part of a captive company within the insurance business for about 15 years and joined Family First Life about 6 months ago. And I kind of just wanted to talk to him a little bit about his experience with Family First Life in comparison to what a captive agent in the business might have experienced up to this point. So first of all, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm super excited for proud of you for the changes and the success you've had early on, but I look forward to what's to come. And
well, that's already here. It's already here. Like we've already done it and it's 6 months in, and
absolutely,
that's what we'll talk about.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. I mean, from your short 6 month period that you've been with Family First Life, comparing to the captive side of things, what's been the best part for you?
I'm going to rewind it because I'm going to tell you that, but I'm going to rewind it back to when I was talking to you, 2 years ago, like you had asked me a few times about, hey, why don't you check this out, or how you doing, or do you like, and I did like what I was doing. It wasn't like I disliked it, but I just didn't realize like how good it could be. And you asked me, and I was like, no, in my own head, I was like, no, I mean, we sell life insurance. Like I know how to do that. And there's no way I can make a living doing that. It's just the way it's set up, the way the captive company has it set up. You absolutely cannot make a living off just selling life insurance. You have to sell car insurance and home and all the other products. And so I believed you because I knew you and I liked you and I trusted you and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know, like I'm good. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. Like
you couldn't process that much money and focusing just on life insurance.
I didn't know. Like you don't know because like that's what you know, and you're ingrained with that system, of having the agent and then the team members and that kind of that scale of that business model. And then when I dug into it further and talked with you and Mike and got to learn about the business and stuff, and then talk to other agents that are already doing it, and it was and then made the jump. And to me it was there was no risk involved. I mean, it was I already kind of have some of the building blocks in place. Now I had to learn some new traits because you guys have a better system than we had in place. So I had to learn some of those new some of that new education, that new training which you guys do, but we did that. It's just the best part about it is that it's meeting with families, hearing their stories and helping them out, which is what I was doing before, but it was on such a smaller scale because there's a lot more service work and a lot more claims and things like things you got to do that way. But it's just and also just the income and the growth of income and the growth of your agency can happen so much faster.
Yeah. So let's back up. You talk about how you didn't really truly understand your experience in the business was I can sell some life insurance, but there's no way I could just focus solely on life insurance and make a good enough living to pay my bills and support my family. So back in the captive days, if you sold a life insurance policy, paint that picture for me. You sold a policy, roughly, what was the average premium per life insurance policy, and what would you, as the agent, actually put in your pocket?
Right. So we would get 25 or 30%, and then that was me as the agency owner. And then if my licensed team member would sell it, I would bonus them, and I bonus as well as I could. And again, 25, I would pay them for what they did, for the sale they made. But again, if you start talking about 25% and you have to spend, it just doesn't, the math doesn't add up, and then when you're making, 100 or 110% or, and even some more down the road,
right.
But it's just it's
a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
Okay. So if you sell $1,000 annualized premium life insurance policy and you're only making 25%, that's $250. But if you're, at Family First Life, we go anywhere between 90 all the way up to 145% commission level.
Right.
So say you're an agent, you're on 120% commission level, and you make that same sale. You're doing the same work, you're making the same sale, but yet you're making $1,000 more.
Well, and the kicker to it too is that captive agency model, you're spending probably 60 to 70 to 80% of your time on, customers calling, service related stuff like,
right.
Hey, I'm paying my bill. Somebody ran into the back of me and caused an accident, with my car, and, or we had a water pipe burst. Those type of things. You're spending a lot of the day on that, and so you don't have a lot of time to go talk to people and meet people and hear their stories and help them out. And the way it's set up with Family First Life, you're doing that 3 or 4 days a week. It puts you in a position to help more families, talk to more people, and have a much better income.
You're going and helping them. You're writing insurance on them. You're spending an hour with them and in their house. You're writing a policy. You're getting them covered, and then the next day you're moving on and helping other people.
Right.
And then the next day you're helping other people. You're not spending so much time doing that service work that you had to do. You were required to do. That came with all the different policies, the P&C type of stuff. The car insurance, the home insurance, right?
Right. And there's claims, obviously, which,
100%.
with life insurance. Yeah. I mean, people do die, and that's why they get it. But it pales into comparison about how many fender benders you have, in a month or in a week. I mean, they happen every day.
Right.
2 and 3 and 4 a day, with your book of business.
So let's talk about income-wise, okay? Because and you were in the captive world for 15 years. It wasn't like you were just there for a couple. You were in the captive world for 15 years, and just starting out with us in your short experience of time. What's your income look like as far as how much you're having deposited in your account each month compared to what it was in the captive world? Well,
first of all, and it's gross. It's more gross, and the net is not even. It's almost comical, but the thing about when you have a captive agency. So even if you have they call them team members in some captive agencies, or licensed team members or things like that. But if you're an aspiring licensed team member and you're looking to get your own captive agency, which a lot of team members are, because that's kind of their sales force. Well, you have to spend quite a bit of money, startup costs and, buildings and, paying all the, employees and other team. I mean, there's a big expense right off the bat. The best part about Family First Life is that when you're starting your own agency, your expenses, your business expenses are pretty minimal. So you can get started and start building your business, and all the tools are in place. I mean, the training and talking with people like yourself, these people that have done this, and you're going to be able to get a business started and grow your business with hard work and sweat equity, which is that's the best part about being a business owner.
Right.
Is putting the work in it. It's possible to do it. 100%.
It's possible to do it very quickly. And my understanding of what you're talking about from the captive world is, as a team member, when you're first starting out, it's kind of like, hey, at some point in time, you can own your own agency and you can take over this book of business or whatever, but you can't do that until a certain person retires. Or
there's always a carrot.
There's a carrot out there, but it's always reliant on somebody else, choosing to retire, or they pass away or something, and that's what moves their book of business on.
Right.
Whereas from day one, and you also had to put out a bunch of money
and you also have to kind of
hopes
you have to
that
go
ever
where
happen.
you have to go where they tell you to go.
Right. Okay. So you have to go and live where they tell you to live, and so. Talk a little bit about that on our side of things. Just in the short 6 months that you've been with us, you've written business, I know, in multiple different states. Mm-hmm. You go wherever you want to go. In Florida, Minnesota, Wisconsin, doesn't matter. You go wherever you want to go. But you also have the ability, within a span of about a year, just like you said, sweat equity and hard work, to build something that might take you 15, 20, 25 years.
There's no doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, one of the things that where my eyes opened up, and I got really excited because I live in Wisconsin and we're right on the border of Minnesota, so we write in both states. I have, family and friends in Florida, but I can go down there and I can work, I can visit, see them and say hey, and see some of my family members and stuff, and but I can do work at the same time, and they call them, travel trips, in our line of work and Family First Life, and you can go work hard for 3 days and, go to another place. And to me, that's fun. I like seeing new places. I like, meeting new people and seeing different cities and stuff. And that's fun for me.
Talk a little bit about, from the income standpoint. Okay. And you're writing and issue paying over $30,000 worth of business every single month in life insurance premium. And you're running 25 to 30 appointments every single week. You're sitting in front of that many clients. Talk about what that looks like from an income standpoint for you, because I'm sure there's plenty of captive agents out there that they're bringing in probably. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. They're probably bringing in $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Focusing on PNC and a little bit of life here and there. What is your income monthly, like deposits? Roughly, what are you averaging getting deposited?
I've been since we started, and it took me a couple weeks to get going. But I mean, early on, right off the bat, I mean, it's been, that first November, the first month after we started, we had 68,000 was what issue paid, and I know, and we had some annuities in there and stuff, but regularly it's been over 30,000 was what we've had issue paid, and it's just, and I know, and again, you go back to in the captive age, and you go, I don't, that's not, come on, man, but well, I'll, call me, let me know.
It's possible, and actually, it's more commonplace with Family First Life. It's not only possible; it's more commonplace.
And you can ask. I mean, and me. What I mean. People that like I'm the lowest pressure. Like I'm not a great sale. Like I'm very low pressure. I just like to go, help people go over their options. And if it's something that they don't feel they need to do, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And, and go to the next person. But I'm not an in your face kind of guy. I'm not, but it works that you have to work hard. It doesn't just fall in your lap, but, it's a great opportunity.
It is. And I want to touch on two other things before we wrap up. One is, because I know we have a bunch of different types of leads, right? The people that we call on and book appointments with, they basically already raised their hand and said, hey, I want information. I want help with life insurance. Is that similar to the captive world, or was the captive world more about building like long-term relationships? Or I don't know. You talk.
The sales process between Family First Life and the sales process for life insurance in the captive world, it's completely different. So the way it works. So if I'm a team member, I'm sitting in a captive agent's office, and the customer, they either come in to pay their bill, or they have a question, they have a claim, things of that. You talk with them, and they say pivot to life insurance, pivot to this type of product. It's all about pivoting. The way the model's set up for us, we're calling and visiting with people that they, like you said, they raise their hand. They filled out a form, either on paper and mailed it in, or sent it in online to say, I have questions I want to learn, I need some help with life insurance.
Right.
So when you go there, like, you're automatically talking about it. That the biggest hurdle in the whole, the way it's set up through a captive agency, like that hurdle's not even there. And you talk about increasing your income by 4 and 5 and 6 times over, per sale. It's not even, it's just.
It's night and day difference.
Yeah.
So, last thing, and you mentioned our culture at Family First Life, and I know this impacted you when you first started with us. And
I wrote you an email at like midnight because I was there. I was at a conference.
Right. It's your first conference, your first sales training conference and meeting, and that was one thing that you noticed is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I want you to talk about it and expand on it. But you noticed that while this is about businesses, and we treat this very seriously from a financial and business aspect, we do it and we approach it from a standpoint of whoever helps the most people wins, and doing everything we can to help our agents and look after our agents and equip our agents to have success. So talk a little bit about that culture and what you noticed initially and what you've seen throughout the 6 months.
Yeah, Brent, the thing that stuck out to me like a sore thumb, so when I went to the conference in Kansas City in February, and it was 3 days, and it was every single minute of the conference. I mean, there was people, there was current Family First agents that doing very, very well, just giving their time. I mean, they're there to help people. Sean, Mike, yourself. I mean, all the different people that were associated with it. I mean, everybody's there. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, and they're absolutely open to go. Yeah, I'm doing this, and here's what we're doing here, and here's what we're doing for, all the ways to grow their business. And it was very, I can't even put really a word on it, like to describe like how inspired I was to have that. It was a team and people, like everybody lifting each other up. I mean, whether you're meeting, some of the younger agents and people that are just getting started in the business, and people asking questions, and everybody lifting each other up. And I've been at some conferences before where, they walked people up on stage that do well, and they're putting whose name is in lights and stuff, and then there's a lot of leaning over, going, well, they got, and it's just nothing but just crabs, just pulling people down. Well, the reason they did this is because they, had this, or they got this opportunity. It was just nothing but crabbing, and it just wasn't fun to be around. It wasn't fun to go to those conferences, and there wasn't a lot of learning going on. It was just, days to get, and this was unbelievably 180 degrees, absolute opposite. And it comes from the top down. I mean, that's how you run an organization with a culture. And if the culture is, hey, we're not here to have a good time, like we're here to work and learn and grow, and we're going to start early in the morning, and that's what that culture has bled right on through everybody, from what you and Sean and the people that have been around this company the longest. It's like a virus, but a good one. Right. And it just expands and grows.
Right. And that's how we've grown this business. I mean, we're in our 7th year of business, and we're going to do $600 million worth of issue paid business.
That's insane.
Our seventh year. We're turning the industry on its head. And a lot of it has to do with, from a leadership standpoint on down, we approach this as, this is work, this is business. We're not afraid to roll our sleeves up, get dirty, go help a bunch of people work, answer the telephone, help a bunch of agents, see the light, make more money than they've ever thought they could possibly make, help more families, make a difference in people's lives. That's how we've approached it. It's not a standpoint of trying to make money off of people in an agency or when they go out and sell. It's about how many people can we help make money themselves, and how many people can we help teach this business. That's how we've grown it, and from day one, and that's the biggest reason. That and our work ethic. Like, this is not a game. I mean, it's not what we do. It's not a game, and you can make out of this deal whatever you want to put into it. You absolutely can. The sky's the limit. What you do.
The thing too that, this is why it works. Like you were talking about the hows and stuff, but the why it works is because the top people in Family First Life that started it and run it and set this organization in place. The agents, the families and the customers are first, but the agents are first too, and that's the family. And it's well named, Family First. Like, that's the family, and the agents are there's not this person, all these different levels of people, and the big company taking a lot of the proceeds of the sales and the product that's being sold. The agent is getting a lion's share of it, and then the more the agent that does, the better the company does, and it's a way of looking at it, going
from the company perspective. When Sean started Family First Life, it was about,
it's genius.
Number one, how can we do right by? We're putting our clients' needs first. We're also putting our agents' needs first, and the company comes third, right? The company, Sean's always viewed this thing as he would gladly take a small portion of a large amount of volume, a large amount of life insurance written, instead of take a huge portion at the agent's expense of a smaller amount of life insurance. And it works.
Yeah,
it works. And and anybody can do this. Anybody can do this 100% as long as that agent makes a choice and a decision in their mind that, hey, I'm going to make this work. I see that this can happen. I see that this is a way, an opportunity for me to make a significant income, not just get by and pay our bills and live day to day, but it's a way we can make a significant income and change a lot of people's lives. So,
well, you've changed mine in 6 months, and I've told you before, but it's been a game changer.
Well,
I mean, it's been a game changer.
I appreciate that, and you've done the work necessary. And as I said earlier, I cannot. I'm proud of you. I know what's happened in 6 months, and I cannot wait to see what happens a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road for you and your family. So I appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate the work you've been doing. Guys, listen, if you're listening to this and you have been a captive agent, or you are currently a captive agent, and you're in one of those situations like Greg has been in himself, and maybe you're making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, just and working your tail off, and there is a better way out there. As far as, again, it's not going to come. It's not going to just fall in your lap. Yes, you have to work for it, but I mean, with the system we have in place, we have agents every single month, right? And 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. It's commonplace with Family First Life. We'll help you, again, as long as you're willing to do the work. So reach out to somebody here at Family First Life. We'll do anything we can to help you and save you from looking up 15 years later, wondering, man, I put all this time in and effort in, and wish I would have started way back when. So appreciate you.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day.